Good day and welcome to our panel. Today's discussion is about a truly pressing issue affecting one of our nation's most vital industries, the fishing industry. Fisherfolk have encountered numerous obstacles that have hampered their livelihoods, and one of the most recent problems they have encountered are foreign confrontations within the South China Sea. The South China Sea is a bountiful source of maritime resources, a vital path for global trade, and is economically indispensable for the Philippines. Recently, escalating confrontations with foreign actors have occurred within these waters. This potentially jeopardizes the physical safety and economic well being of the nation as a whole, and those working within its vital fishing industries. This discussion forum will be dedicated to elaborating on these issues and the actions our government can and should undertake to address the plight of its citizens. But first, to elaborate more on the hurdles encountered by our nation's fisherfolk, including the issues within the South China Sea, may I welcome our first speaker of this panel, Archie, to provide his insights on the matter.
Fisherfolk grapple with multiple challenges and threats to their livelihood. Overfishing, driven by illegal and unsustainable practices, is depleting fish stocks and harming marine biology. Climate change intensified these issues by altering ocean conditions, escalating stream oil production. Destructive fishing methods like dynamite and cyanide facing devastate marine habitats, while coastal development and population pollution degraded crucial swarming like coral reefs. Compounding these challenges are the socioeconomic struggles of physical behind, facing health risks at sea and battling with poor infrastructure. Environmental hazard, including typhoon and sea level rise, further jeopardize their lives and livelihood. Moreover, agencies and state administration tasked with regulating these problems, such as the BFAR, face institutional weakness from weak enforcement to inadequate monitoring, hindering effective fisheries management. Small-scale fisherfolk plagued by poverty and lack of access to modern technology, struggled with unstable income and limited alternative livelihood. Conflict over fishing territories among various fishing communities add to the complexity, necessitating collaborative solution. Now, moving on the more prevalent aspect of these difficulties, the conflict of interest in the South China Sea, which involves our nation and other states, primarily China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan, who, who also bordered the sea, present a complex web of conflicting marine claims, territorial dispute, and geopolitical tension. Fisherfolk and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, BFAR of the Philippines, struggle the numerous challenges stemming from this conflict. Illegal commercial fishing is rampant in the South China Sea due to its rich marine resources, despite its contested nature. Countries continue to exploit this water, leading to unreported and unauthorized fishing activities that strain BFAR and other state agencies' monitoring and management capacities. The region, territorial disputes, and geopolitical rivalries pose threat to the safety of fishermen, with incidents ranging from pollution and ship harassment to coastal guard arrest. The presence of military vessels and armed marine militias in contested water escalates this risk, jeopardizing the livelihood and of those dependent on the sea, such as the Bangsamoro people in the island province of Sulu and Tawi-Tawi. Furthermore, diplomatic tension arising from the territorial disputes strain international relations and hinder diplomatic resolution. This geopolitical complexity impact PFAR's ability to effectively manage fisheries and conserve marine biology in the South China Sea.
Thank you again, Archie, for providing such valuable insight. As Archie mentioned, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is a key administration that is heavily involved in aiding our nation's fisherfolk and is struggling to overcome these issues. To provide their own insights into this agency, I would like to welcome our next speakers, Nisa and Angelo, to provide their opinions and comments on the matter.
Good day, everyone. I would like to offer insights into the pressing issue affecting our fisherfolk in the West Philippine Sea. Central to addressing this issue is the role of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, under the Department of Agriculture. BIFAR's authority stems particularly from Article 12 of the Philippine Constitution. Section 2 emphasizes protecting the nation's marine wealth exclusively for Filipino citizens, while Section 7 prioritizes the rights of subsistence fishermen and local communities, ensuring their access to marine resources and protection against foreign intrusion. My first journey began in 1901 when the Philippine Commission proposed creating an office to manage fisheries. It was officially formed in 1947 under RA 177 and has undergone various reorganizations over the years, leading to its current structure. RA 8550, or the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998, strengthened BIFAR's role in fisheries management. Amendments in 2015 further enhanced its governance. Throughout its history, BIFAR has remained committed to conserving and developing the country's fisheries and aquatic resources. BIFAR collaborates with LGUs, fisheries councils, the private sector, and other agencies to enforce fishery laws, to ensure the sustainable use of marine resources. Amid tensions in the West Philippine Sea, the increased vessel deployment of the Philippine Coast Guard and before shows our commitment to protecting our country's interests and fishermen. Beyond regulations, before plays a vital role in securing food for our nation, especially as we strive for 100% food fish sufficiency by 2028. However, challenges remain, including foreign vessels operating in the disputed waters. In fact, in 2022, fisheries output in the Philippine section of the West Philippine Sea declined by 7%. Addressing these challenges is crucial for sustaining food security and mitigating inflationary pressures. Recently, BIFAR announced increased assistance to empower fisherfolk in the West Philippine Sea, which includes providing larger boats, distributing fishery equipment, and implementing rotational vessel deployments at key fishing grounds. Together, let's unite in supporting BIFAR in its mission to protect our marine resources and improve the livelihoods of our fisherfolk. This aligns with the aspirations of the Filipino people, our ambition natin 2040, that of a matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay.
The escalating tensions in the West Philippine Sea are evident, with the constant intrusion of Chinese militia ships, fishermen, and the recent contraction of artificial islands within our exclusive economic zone, wreaking havoc on our marine ecosystem. The consequences are dire. As highlighted by the Indo-Pacific Defense Forum, a staggering 25 square kilometers of coral reef equivalent to 6,200 acres have been obliterated due to island building, with a whopping 75% of this destruction attributed to China. This is where the critical roles of BPART comes in, as they are entrusted with the implementation of fisheries regulatory and law enforcement program. This program focuses on the promotion of strict enforcement of fishery laws and regulations and the intensification of coastal resource management activities to properly utilize aquatic resources in the coastal and other marine areas of the country. This program also hopes to address issues on environmental degradation in the West Philippine Sea, wherein human activity is causing severe ecological damage. In response to these threats, VPAR has pledged unwavering commitment to its monitoring, control, and surveillance system. This comprehensive strategy encompasses three pivotal components, such as data collections through monitoring, legislation via licensing and control, and enforcement or surveillance. Through the MCS system, BIPAR aims to safeguard our fisheries and aquatic resources against illicit activities, ensuring their sustainability for future generations. VFAR as quasi-judicial. Beyond its regulatory and enforcement role, VFAR also wields quasi-judicial functions, which stated in the rules of procedure for adjudication of fishery laws cases in pursuant to Section 130 of Republic Act Number 8550 as amended by Republic Act Number 10654. These rules shall govern the pleadings, practice, and procedure before the adjudication committee in all matters of hearing, investigations, and proceeding within its jurisdiction. BPAR as quasi-legislative capacity is demonstrated in Republic Act 10654, Section 65, which enable the agency to formulate and implement rules and regulations for conservation and management.
Thank you to our speakers for shedding light on the functions of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Truly, by understanding the Bureau's mandate, may we be able to comprehend the state's responsibility to our fishing industries in these tumultuous times, and perhaps enlighten those affected by these issues with potential avenues to report to. Our last set of speakers will now provide supporting information on how the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources functions through rules of procedure and previous relevant cases that further demonstrate the application of the Bureau's authority. I would like to welcome our last set of speakers, Queenie and Bernice, to provide their insights.
As P4 is the agency tasked with the development, conservation, management, protection, and utilization of fisheries and aquatic resources, it is important for us to identify the rules of procedures they have when it comes to the adjudication of fishery law cases. Before we move forward, we need to first identify what type of cases are handled by BIFAR. Violation and fishery laws such as illegal and unregulated fishing are the type of cases that they handle. An example of these are unlawful poaching of foreign vessels in Philippine waters and dynamite fishings. In instances when violation in fishery law happens, what are the necessary steps that should be taken, that should be done when fisher folks report it to before? First, the parties may be represented by the counsel of their choice and they must submit pleadings. It is necessary that the pleadings are filed in English, Filipino, or their local language, but should always be accompanied with a translation. We should also remember that BIFAR is an administrative agency and that they are prohibited in accepting pleadings such as motion to dismiss, motion for extension of time to file pleadings, affidavits, or any other submission of similar intent. Other than the pleading, photographs or videos are some of the examples of admissible evidences that should be submitted as well. When they receive the pleading and the evidence, before will conduct investigation proceedings to identify the possible violation of fishery law. During the investigation, enforcement officers are not limited in doing the following: monitor the compliance, hold conferences and interviews with the complainant, conduct surveillance or ocular inspection, and seek assistance from other government agencies in the conduct of investigation. After the investigation, BIFAR may continuously monitor compliance for further violation of fishery law, or have the pre-trial evidence reviewed by a judge to determine whether it will warrant a trial. BIFAR also has the power to conduct administrative action when the complaint is verified. The agency can issue summons to the respondents, conduct a supplemental pleading, conduct a clarificatory conference in its discretion for the purpose of asserting facts, issues, and other matters, and motion to release impounded fishing vessels. Lastly, BIFAR can also issue a cease and desist ex parte upon any violator prior to or after judgment or final order requiring the violator to refrain from further committing an offense.
Understanding the functions of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BIFAR should go beyond just reading the written mandates and rules of procedure. The real-life application of the law through actual scenarios and conflicts of interest within legal cases may clarify nuanced functions that written rules alone could not. I would like to discuss the following landmark cases that heavily involve the BIFAR and have really defined how the BIFAR functions. The cases of resident marine mammals of the protected seascape Tanyan Strait versus DENR Secretary Angela Reyes and Central Visayas Fisherfolk Development Center versus DENR Secretary Angelo Reyes are entangled in a web of legal complexities. What are the burning issues? First, can resident marine mammals claim legal standing in court for environmental destruction? Second, the Service Contract Number 46, which greenlights petroleum services exploration in the Tanyan Strait, breached the 1987 Constitution? Third, was the issuance of the Environmental Compliance Certificate or ECC For environmentally critical zones above the board, what is the court's decision? The marine mammal's plea for legal standing was denied because only natural or juridical persons are authorized by law. SC 46 was declared null and void for contravening the Constitution since the President should be the one to enter into agreements about exploration of natural resources. Thus, actions were considered a breach of jurisdiction. And the ECC issuance was deemed illegal due to violations against the NIPAS Act, which protects designated locations like the Tanyan Strait to conserve natural biodiversity. The next intriguing case is the Republic of the Philippines versus Eno Fish Pond Corporation, which unfolds like a corporate drama. Before leased two sprawling fish ponds in Aklan to Cabral Fish Pond Industry Corporation. Editha Cabral transferred 75% of her shareholdings in Cabral Corporation to Paterno Bellarmino via a deed of assignment. Cabral Corporation, led by Marjorie Galcin, Editha's daughter, transferred its leasehold rights for both fish ponds to Eno Corporation. Eno Corporation is a corporate entity controlled by Masedja Ong-o, who is another daughter of Editha and sister to Marjorie. The plot thickens when Eno Corporation applied to BIFAR to transfer the leasehold rights of both fish ponds in its name. When Alita Cabral's family members, without her knowledge, transferred the leasehold rights to Eno Corporation, Alita Cabral protested, leading to a contentious legal showdown. While the case could have been straightforward based on FAO number 60, it became complicated due to internal disputes within Cabral Corporation. The court noted that these corporate disagreements should have been resolved in a different legal setting, rather than complicating the BIFAR's decision-making process. In essence, this case emphasizes the importance of adhering to legal protocols and clear communication in corporate dealings, especially when they involve government agencies like BIFAR.
Thank you to all our speakers for such informative insights. Truly, the nation is faced with daunting challenges, both local, geopolitical, and environmental, that have made life more difficult for our nation's vital fishing industry and vulnerable groups, such as the fisher folk working within it. Nevertheless, despite the complications they face, the Bureau of Fisheries has always and will continue to play a pivotal role in defending our nation's fisher folk and developing our marine resources. From the Bureau's inception to its modern mandates and programs, from its partnership with large scale entities to local governments and small scale fisherfolk. BIFAR and its authority to regulate and administer fishery laws remains integral to our nation's development, especially now in these uncertain times. Thank you all for watching.